Hi everyone, Teresa Aker here from Success Diaries with Teresa Aker. It's my pleasure to introduce Dwayne today. How you doing, Dwayne?
I am just awesome, Teresa. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for joining us today. So,
Pleasure to be
Dwayne,
here.
yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to quickly tell them what you do, Dwayne, and then we're
Sure.
going to get into it, okay?
All right.
Thank you. So Dwayne Dwyer is a 24-year Army vet. He's a personal and professional development coach. He has trained himself, and I am thrilled you're here today, Dwayne. So let's get started. First, thank you for your service.
It is an honor to serve. Thank you for that.
Thank you. We appreciate it so much. So Dwayne, let's get started.
Yeah.
Let's go to the beginning. How did this all transpire?
Oh, wow. I don't know what you see when you say go to the beginning, I'm trying to figure out which beginning you want to talk about.
Yeah, whatever. You know what? We're a podcast. We get to go wherever we want, and it's my show. You can say whatever you want, Dwayne.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, to be honest with you, I was one of those people who joined the army because I didn't like where I came from. I didn't like that area. I didn't see a lot of positivity there for me. And so, trying to get to the point, because you know how when you're young, you're trying to figure out what's the meaning of life, what you're supposed to be doing, and things of that nature. I was like, you know what? I'm going to the army. Forget it. And so I did that for about 24 years, and I enjoyed it up to a certain point. And then once I got too far removed from, training and teaching soldiers, that was it for me. It was time for me to retire. So I retired in 2015 out of Shaw Air Force Base. And then I started government contracting. And I first started off in Fort Sill, Oklahoma, and then I left Fort Sill, Oklahoma, and came to Fort. During that time, it was Fort Gordon. Now it's Fort Eisenhower because they've changed the name of all those military bases.
Okay.
And so I went to Eisenhower, and I was a teacher to where I taught leadership and things of that nature. And good friend of mine I've known for years. He was my squadron commander when I was in the army, and he introduced me to John Maxwell. And I've always been a fan of leadership. I believed in leadership and things of that nature. And he said, "Hey, you and I kind of cut from the same cloth. You might enjoy this." And so from there, he introduced me to the John Maxwell team, and I was sold. And so I got certified as a speaker, coach, and trainer through the John Maxwell team. And since then, I've been continuing to work and develop myself. So it's been all about developing people and organizations to be the best version of themselves. Ultimately, to realize that we've been put on this earth to serve someone else. Like it's for me, and I apologize, and I get off my soapbox here in a second.
Don't
Um,
apologize. You're doing great, Dwayne. You can talk as long as you want. The floor is yours.
thank you. It's for me, it's mind numbing to see and to experience so much self-centeredness. Living in a world of me, 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 and me, to where in all actuality, we are wired to serve other peoples, and we feel at our best when we're impacting somebody else's lives positively, right? So I think that's the thing. Like once we get to the point of realizing that, sure, my life has meaning, but the meaning of my life is determined based upon how many people I help to get to where they want to get to in life. It's kind of like what Zig Ziglar said years ago, right? The more you help people get what they want, the eventually you'll get what you want. And I think that's the thing. That's the thing that we all have to get to. So off my soapbox, and I do apologize.
Oh no, don't be apologizing. We're good. I mean, your opinion matters because you're out there training people, you're teaching people, you're leading people. I'm very familiar with John Maxwell's course, excellent leadership course. I'm always inspired by people who invent themselves, if you will.
Yeah,
And but you're right, service does matter. You want to be servicing people, but it's not just that. I think it's about giving. When
sure.
we give of ourselves, we receive tenfold. That's just my opinion. Whether this the world right now understands that, I think a lot of them do. I do, in
Mhm.
my opinion, I think they do. But there's people that are like yourself that are out there training, leading, and showing them another way. Is
Yeah.
that fair?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I agree 100%. Giving is always better than receiving, right? But it's not that we frown upon receiving. We appreciate those that give to us for
Mhm.
the sake of giving to others as well. So I definitely agree with what you're saying.
Oh, absolutely. So in leadership, do you work with corporations or individuals? Who do you work with, Dwayne?
The answer is yes. So we're
Okay, everybody. Well,
yes,
that's
I
good.
don't, and I thoroughly enjoy it.
Okay,
I do enjoy working with in a corporate setting to where we have multiple people, whether we're talking team development, whether we're
sure.
talking um different echelons of management and things of that nature. But I also like the one-on-one because now the person can be like totally transparent and intimate. When you have people in a group, there's always a person in there who really want to tell their story, but they're kind of like intimidated or fear sharing their story, being honest. But on a one-on-one session, like a person can be totally transparent, especially when they know that you are governed by law, that you can't share any version of that story with anybody else. So I think that's another thing to go look at as well. So yeah, I love doing it.
Oh, excellent. Now, can I ask, you were a vet. Did you bring a lot of those skills? I'm thinking you brought a lot of your skills to your platform when you were doing the leadership.
Yeah. So the military has a pretty, and I call it decent. It is a pretty decent leadership model. And there was a lot of things I brought over with me. But if I'm being transparent, it's a lot of stuff I couldn't bring because my job in the military was field artillery. I got paid to blow stuff up. I can't blow
Okay,
stuff up in the civilian world. So so I had to change that, right? But
I get that.
from the people development standpoint, absolutely. There's a lot of things that I brought into it. And for me, I have I'm a believer by nature. Like I was raised in the church. I've studied the Bible. I'm one of those people who not only just read the Bible, I literally study it. And if you look behind me, you'll see different versions of different books. And every book I read, I always read it with a foundation of biblical understanding. And so when I do what I do, whether it was in the Army in my later years, of course, or whether it's in my coaching practice right now, or whether I'm standing in front of a group of captains at the Cyber Center of Excellence teaching them, it's all taught with a biblical understanding. I'm not quoting scriptures, I'm just using that understanding to deliver the message that I'm delivering to them at that time.
Oh, sure. That's fair, Dwayne. That's fair. You're giving your element, your perspective and your
Yeah,
insight, and you're bringing it with a nice faith background. There's nothing wrong with that. That's wonderful. That's
yeah.
actually very kind of you to spread that. So that's very good. Now,
Thank
let
you.
me ask you something. If I was to ask you, let's say, two tips that you could give people that would help them as a leader, you're a leader. What tips would you give them in life today because times have changed
Mhm.
today that would help people kind of move forward, whether it be in their career, personal life, and their health. What do you kind of stand by?
Well, I think one of them I kind of already gave. Um, and I believe that when you realize as a leader, like regardless of how many people that are your subordinates, which I really don't like using the word subordinate, regardless of how many people work with you, right? When you view them that each one of them have value, and your job as a leader is to extract that value, even if they don't know they have it. Once you learn how to do that, then your leadership lid grows exponentially. And when I say leadership lid, if you ever read John Maxwell's fit the 15 invaluable laws of I think it's the 15 invaluable laws. I've read so many they start to run together.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I think it's the 15 invaluable laws of growth. So
Okay.
if you read that, he talks about leadership led. Nope, correction. That's the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. In the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership, he talked about leadership led. And your leadership led, if it is here, you will struggle trying to lead someone whose lid is up here. And in a corporate setting, it is very easy to encounter that, especially when you start looking at a lot of the dynamics when it comes down to, IT and things of that nature. And so understanding that you have to elevate your live. So a leader must constantly and consistently seek improvement. So they continue to improve themselves by being lifelong learners. Therefore, they're elevating their leadership lid. Therefore, when they encounter their people, they're looking to extract value, making them a better version of themselves, and putting them in the positions to where they can be great in the environment. Now they view you as a leader, not just because of your position, but because of who you are. Now, there were probably about three or four tips in that. I do apologize, but I
No, no,
think,
that's okay.
yeah, I think that's the key. The key is understanding and go back to what I said previously. Your job, and I'm gonna use your phrase, Your job is to give of yourself to your employees so that they can be the best version of themselves in the job setting. And when they get to the point that they feel valued, the value that they're going to deliver is just mind blowing.
Very well said, Dwayne. I think in leadership, we have to kind of go into the trenches, if you will, with
Sure.
everyone. Although you are a leader, I think you have to be willing to get down with your team, do the work, help them, and assist them, and learn as you grow. Because as you're growing, your knowledge is growing, and they have respect for someone that will continue on. So it
Absolutely.
just like when you come out of university. Well, I'll jump a little bit here. You come out of university and you stop studying. That's unfortunate because you could learn
Right.
so much more in life if you just kept taking courses. They don't have to be heavy loads, but
Sure.
keep going and keep growing and learning in different areas, learning human development. So you're absolutely right. And a leader that's willing to continue education and continue learning and be respectful of their peers and their teams and continue on, I think they make great leaders. Is that fair, Dwayne?
That is absolutely correct. I also I tend to have a philosophy like you'll see it a lot, especially in social media space and things of that nature.
Yes.
Everybody wants to know, right? So the pursuit of knowledge becomes endless, but it's not about knowledge, it's the application of knowledge. Once you get to the point to where you learn how to apply the thing that you know, now you're learning through experience as well. So now I have the information I got from said book, said course, whatever
Mm.
that looks like, and then I've learned how to apply it in my life, and I'm also open to receiving whatever the environment is teaching me after applying that information. Now we get to the point of wisdom because that knowledge now being applied gives me more knowledge, and now I just apply the learning of that knowledge on top of the previous knowledge, and now I'm exponentially growing. I'm continuously growing. That's what leadership is. Like no leader, I don't care who you are, the first position that you got as a leader, you had no idea what you were doing.
No.
You probably went to some type of leadership training course or whatever, and it sounded good the way they was teaching it. But when you applied it, it's like people get a vote and they're like, oh my, like this is different. So it's like you have to learn
Mm.
how to be a leader. And the most important thing you're going to learn, the most important person that you're going to learn about is yourself as a leader. The more I learn, like, sure, the way Teresa does a thing, and I hope I'm pronouncing your name right.
You
The
are.
way the way Teresa does a thing is awesome. But can I
Thank you.
mimic exactly what she does? Probably not.
No.
But I can learn from her. And now my personality, my behavior, all of my past experiences, my upbringing, education, all that stuff, it gets a vote. So now that's where the application piece like comes around full circle because I may not do it the way Teresa did it, but I do it the way I do it. And listen, it can be equally as value if we actually take the time to ensure that it's pointed at the right people, the audience, which is the employee.
Excellent. And you talked about John Maxwell. That's exactly it. You didn't take the course to be John Maxwell. You took the course to get the tools and the training you need to be Dwayne Dwyer at the best ability that you're able to do it. And you're absolutely right. Those are tools. You don't try to, you could certainly have mentors, but
Sure.
definitely put your own spin on it and learn from yours. And you're bringing a background that John Maxwell didn't bring. You're seeing it from your glasses, he's seeing it from his, if you will, and I'm
Yeah.
seeing it from mine. I'm saying, okay, I like learning from Dwayne. You got
Mhm.
some great ideas. I like your leadership skills. And again, the same thing. I don't want to be Dwayne. I want to
Right.
be me, but I want Dwayne's knowledge so I can move forward and do a better job. So well said. Well
Yeah,
said.
thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Now, Dwayne, I see you have a mic there. You have a podcast or a show?
I do. I do.
Could
So
you
my
tell us
you
what the name of your podcast is? And I probably have it in your bio, but let's talk about it.
Sure. So my YouTube channel is, believe it or not, Empowering Perspectives. And so under that brand, we have a couple of different shows. On Friday nights, we have a show called The Hearts of Men. And that show is a all-male panel, but we're not just talking male stuff. We're talking life in general. And the reason why I started that show is because, like, I was raised by my mother. My mother and my father separated when I was 3 years old. We were in Heidelberg, Germany, and we came back to the States. And one of the things I considered as an adult, because I think one of the most important things that we can do is look back over our lives and say, if I could turn back the hands of time, what would I have needed to get me to where I am at a much faster rate? And that thing, if I'm being completely transparent, was my dad. But he had already moved on and had a different life. And I would get to see him like ever so often, like once a year. But he was in the military and he went off and did great and wonderful things. So the hearts of men is all about being able to inject a male influence for a young Dwayne out there who doesn't have a father in their life, or a young mother who is raising a son and doesn't have that male influence. So now they have a platform to where their son can actually listen to and get some of this information. They may not necessarily be able to understand all of it now, but over the course of time, it starts to make better sense to them. But equally so, on Saturday mornings, it's one Saturday right now, once a month, the third Saturday of every month, there's the Hearts of Women. And so it is an all women platform who does pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
And I love listening to what they talk about. Their perspectives are phenomenal. They take more of a biblical based approach, which is perfectly fine with me. And I think, I mean, this has gotten a lot of attention. On Tuesdays at 7 p.m., we have a show called Coach's Corner. And so it's myself and another John Maxwell certified speaker, coach, and trainer. And we talk about everything from the perspective of leadership, relationships, and make no mistake about it, everything is relationships, right? So whether we're talking relationships in the work setting or relationships in the home, because one of the things I don't think we talk about enough is leadership from a home perspective. Like parents are leaders within the home. And if we don't see ourselves as leaders, then we're missing a big mark and we're missing a big calling on our lives. Like those children that they have, those children need the best version of them as parents. And sometimes we don't necessarily get that. So right now, those are the shows that I actually have. And there's one more. I'm sorry, I almost forgot one. The fourth Saturday of every month is reframing the image of relationships. And that show is all about getting relationships as we see them in the proper perspective. Like I think it's not about, and I'm just, if you don't mind, I'm just going to use you as an
No,
example.
the floor is
It's
yours.
not a it's not about me making you serve me, or it's not about you making me serve you. It's like, how can we serve each other and still honor the creator himself by doing so? Putting you in positions to where you feel empowered, to where you feel honored to be a wife, and vice versa. So it's just talking about things from that perspective. And I think that's it. That's all.
Gee, that's a lot. Never mind, that's all. Well done, Dwayne.
Thank you. Thank
I,
you.
I want to circle back just for a moment. You
Mhm.
were talking about the young men and young women that are perhaps coming from homes where they just need a little more strength, that their parents maybe have to work all the time. And unfortunately, it is the way it is. A lot of parents both have to work, they both have to be away from the home more.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of internet, which is perhaps confusing. I don't know, but if I was a young person, I'd be really confused in some
Yeah.
areas because we're drawn into, groups that we may not understand and so forth. So a young mind is still being molded and still learning. So what a valuable gift you're giving them to be able to sit down and say, okay, mom and dad are great. We need, you just, here's some more tools, as you talked about before. Here's some more ideas, help them grow. And the parents can be involved too, because now they can feel safe that there's an environment that their children are getting more knowledge, more tools to be out there in the world and feel safe. Is that fair?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's not that, and I want to make sure I say this. The show is not designed to go against what the parents teach in the house.
No, I
It's
understand
actually
that.
designed to go along with what they're teaching. And I know you understand it, but I want to make sure everybody in the audience get it as well. Like we're not trying to tell parents how to be parents. That's not my focus. Our focus is to give parents, like you said, the necessary tools to help. Because trust me, video games, unsavory YouTube channels and things of that nature, like you get all of that. And I'm not the person to identify what is savory or what is unsavory. That's a parent's job. The parent sets the conditions
Sure.
for the environment that the child is in. And then ideally, and I'm not talking about me as a father, ideally, I want to know what you're looking at. I want to know what's infecting your mind or influencing your mind one way or the other. And so that foundational approach to parenting is helpful. And wouldn't it be just an awesome thing if they had a tool that they can say, hey, look at this video. you hear other people telling you the exact same thing. Because I don't want you to think it's just me. You hear these men,
Yeah.
all gray bearded in their 50s and such, and, just telling you the exact same thing. So please take a look at this, and now let's have a conversation after.
That's brilliant. Honestly, that's brilliant. It really is a great foundation that you built, Dwayne, and it really does offer so much information and so many wonderful assisted programs to help people. I just think you're doing a terrific job. So well done. Now, let's say someone wanted to reach out to you right now. What's the best place they can get you, Dwayne?
Oh, wow. So if you want to send me an email, you can send me an email at info@totalmindsetshift.com. You can easily go to my website, www.totalmindsetshift.com. And there's a group. We have a we have a group, kind of like Facebook, have their private groups. We have a group on there as well. And it's Total Mindset Shift /groups. And that gets you into the social media side of my website. Um, I'm very easy to reach. I'm approachable. I'm down to earth. I just love people, right? And if you send me an email, 9 times out of 10, within 24 hours, I'll respond. I think when we first connected, I think I was responding back just like that.
You were.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So and that's it. I think that's what we have to do. Regardless of what your title is, what your achievements or your accolades are, you never forget where you came from. So you have to be reachable. You have to be approachable, and all of those great things. So yeah, info@totalmindsetshift.com is the easiest way to reach me.
Great. I'm thrilled that you brought your leadership skills here to give us some ideas. I truly am, Dwayne. You're a very open and giving type of person. So, wow, that's really great of you. I appreciate that today. Okay.
I
Now,
appreciate you for having me.
thank you. Now, Dwayne Dwyer, you
Mhm.
can reach out to him. I'm going to make sure that all his information is here for all of you who want to talk about his coaching abilities, his coaching shows, any of the meetings that he talked about today. I'm going to list them. Dwayne, you're going to send all of that to me so you'll be able to get a hold of him. What a great idea that you have, and you're really helping people. So thank you for giving back. To everyone else, this is Teresa Aker from Success Diaries with Teresa Aker. Please subscribe to Dwayne's sites as you see them. It just helps bring more content. And to myself, I really appreciate that. I hope you're having a great day, and I look forward to talking to you all very soon. Bye-bye now.